Alright, here we go with another Transformer review. This time I'm doing, as you can tell, G1 Galvatron. Now, before I get started here actually looking at the toy, I just wanted to point out, you probably are already aware of this, but if you look on YouTube, there's a bunch of other reviews already of this guy. So, you know, mine's not going to be anything special or anything new that you probably haven't heard before, but I figured, what the hell, I'll just do my own little take on this guy and just kind of show him off here. Now, I'm not going to go into all the background of the character and his story and everything. That's probably already been done to death at this point. And if you really want to know about the background of this character, you could easily just do, you know, an internet search and find out everything you wanted to know. More than I could probably tell you off the top of my head. So anyways, with that being said, let's get started here looking at this guy. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is this is my original toy that I had when I was a kid, back when it first came out, which I believe was in 1986. So yeah, I've had this guy ever since then. And as we go through here, you'll notice that he's a little beat up, he's a little kind of wore out. The stickers are kind of peeling and falling apart. The chrome's kind of fading away and rubbed off. So, you know, he's an old toy, what can you say? And the other thing is that he's not 100% complete. I don't have his file card, the little, you know, thing that was on the back of the package with his little background. I think I lost that years ago. And I'm also missing the little black laser gun that he came with. Other than that, though, I have everything else for him as far as I can remember. So yeah, and the other thing too is that the electronics work on this guy still. Not the greatest, but they still work. So when we get further along here, you'll see that. But anyways, let's get started here looking at him. So obviously here I got him in his little alt mode, which is the laser cannon mode, or laser blaster mode, or whatever you want to call it. So let's just kind of move him around here and just take a little look at him here. Not too bad of an alt mode. I always thought it looked okay. You know, the G1 toys weren't always the most cartoon accurate, but this toy actually was fairly cartoon accurate for the time that it came out, at least in my opinion. It doesn't have a lot of the curved features that was on the movie version of him, obviously. You know, it's very blocky, kind of rectangular, square looking, so, you know, they're not going to get all that kind of, you know, real contoured molding back then. But it's still pretty cool nonetheless. It's got all the basic features of him, at least, you know, what they could try to get at the time. So that's him there. And as you can tell, like I said, some of my stickers are kind of peeling off here and just kind of falling apart. And some of my joints are a little floppy, like this guy here is pretty loose. Doesn't really ratchet much anymore. But overall, my toy here is actually still in pretty good shape, I think. And let's just kind of tilt him around here. So here he is from the back side. You know, like so. And like I was saying, the electronics work on this guy, and there's a little button right here that you could push, and that would give you the sound effects. And he had 3 different sound effects, and I'm going to try and run through here, each one of these here. They may or may not work exactly right, so let's just give this a shot here. So that's the first one. That one's always my favorite one. And let's go on to the next one here. And that's that one. And here's the last one. So I'm actually surprised, because normally when I fiddle around with this guy, the sound effects don't really pulsate or whatever. They just kind of like make a steady tone. But it's actually cooperating with me this time, so that's a good thing. So that's pretty much his little alt mode there. And this guy actually had 3 modes, if you want to consider them 3 modes. He had a little gun mode that he could turn into, which really isn't anything special. Basically, you have this little like stand here, and you can see there's a trigger here. Now on my guy, this trigger actually is like, I don't know, jammed up or something. When I press it, it doesn't work. But originally, when you press this, it'll also make the little sound effects go off. And so to put him into the little gun mode, basically all you do is just pull this down like so. So that's going to be your little handle, your grip. And then just take these and fold them up like this. And like I said, this is kind of floppy here. Let me kind of set it down here so I can get it all into the camera. But just go like this and rotate these around like so. I think you're supposed to fold that back. It doesn't really matter. You could leave it out or up if you want. I'd always kind of think put them back when I was a kid. But anyways, and then that goes like that. And so that's pretty much his little blaster mode there. Just kind of pan up so you could hold it, you know, shoot the gun. Doesn't work, but you know, if you squeeze the trigger, it would have made the sound effects, but mine's not cooperating. So that's that. So now let's move on to the robot mode, which is pretty much already halfway done at this point. But you want to just take this, his little cannon here, pop it out, or the barrel of his cannon. And then this guy here, you could just leave it out like that, but let's do his legs first. And to do those, you just pull them straight down and spread them apart. And then you just want to flip out his little feet here, like so. And then you want to just rotate his whole upper part here around all the way. So there's going to be the front of him. And the arms we already pretty much got transformed. And then you just open this up here and flip out the little fists or hands. Like that. And then you can just leave those down for now. And then there's a little part back here that just pops out and up. And then once you got that done, you just push the whole assembly here down and that'll reveal his head like that. And then you can just fold this up like that and just rotate that up, or you could kind of do it like that and have it like that, but I just always did it like that. And then just flip these up to give him his little like shoulder pads or whatever it was. And also these little thigh pads here, if you didn't already have them bent down, you would just fold them down like they are there. So that's his robot mode pretty much. And then the only other thing left to do on him would be to take this little piece here, which comes with him, which unfortunately I don't think it could attach in his little cannon mode. So it's, you know, one of those things that you could have easily lost as a kid. But fortunately I have mine still. And then you take the barrel part of the cannon and just shove it in here like that. And that's going to become his little arm mounted bazooka or whatever. And that just slides up on here and attaches like so. And you can put it on either arm. I always put it on his right arm. And now you got him in his robot mode. And like I said, the only thing I'm really missing on this guy is his little black gun that he came with, which you could peg into either fist. Obviously it would have to go on the one that doesn't have the cannon here. It kind of gets in the way. But that's him there. And let's just kind of take a little close-up look at him here. Look at his head here. So I actually like the way he looks. Again, I think they did a pretty good job as far as, you know, making him look as much as they could like the cartoon version of him. So he's fairly show accurate, you know, given the time that it came out. And one thing, when you activate the electronics, it makes his eyes light up. So they turn nice and yellow. Not sure how well that yellow is coming through on the camera, but they turn yellow nonetheless. Basically, there's a little clear plastic part here that lights up. So that's what does that. And right in here is his battery compartment, and he takes a 9-volt battery, which is, you know, kind of a big battery for the toy. And basically you just slide this up if you want to get into the compartment here. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. But you just pull this back up like so, and then just flip this in. And that's going to open up, and then this little part here flips down. And then you got to just kind of get in there and pry out the little 9-volt battery and stick it in. And like I said, fortunately mine still works after all these years, although not all the time. Sometimes it gets a little picky on me. It doesn't want to work, but nevertheless it still works. So let's just kind of go on down here and look at the rest of him. So as you can tell, again, my stickers are kind of beat up, starting to peel and fade away. And like I said, the chrome's kind of going away on this guy here. But that's pretty much his alt mode, or not alt mode, but robot mode. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this guy. Again, I'm going to try and keep this kind of short. Not going to go into all the background and stuff. But if you like this guy, I'd say try to get him. I know they've reissued him, I think once or twice at least, so probably goes for a pretty good price, but I really wouldn't pay too much for him if you're trying to get it. But you know, if you really want to get this guy and you got to have him, then I guess, you know, price is not really a concern for you. So, you know, go ahead and knock yourself out. But you know, if you can find them for a good deal, go for it. But anyways, I think I'll wrap it up here with my look at G1 Galvatron.